The Edge at 11 starts now.
Breaking news tonight on The Edge, the Hamtramck city manager has been placed on leave.
It follows a volatile city council meeting where the mayor and city manager got into a heated exchange. Fox News' Dave Kinchin is joining us now live with the latest on this fallout. And Dave, are we learning any more details about why?
Well, you know, the main thing the mayor said is he wants to make sure that this investigation ongoing into the police chief who was suspended amid allegations of misconduct, they want to make sure that the investigation is impartial, and it's the city manager who placed that police chief on leave. Let's go to video right now. This was a wild one here. At one point, there were more police officers in the meeting than residents taking part in public comment. Now, here's what we know. Residents came here expecting to find out whether their police chief, who's been suspended, will in fact be reinstated. Instead, the mayor felt it was important for the city manager, Max Garbarino, to be placed on administrative leave to ensure fairness in this case. We'll show you more of the fire exchange between the city manager and Mayor Amir Ghalib in just a moment, but the police chief was suspended over allegations of misconduct, a dramatic ordeal with several layers that even prompted the FBI to check things out at City Hall. Now, the chief, Jamil Al-Tahiri, was placed on leave after city officials got an email alleging that he took improper actions that needed to be investigated. The email alleging the chief to be involved with the potential presidential pardon of a wealthy New York investor who was reportedly convicted of a financial crime. Another document raising questions about the police chief's role in an investigation into city election fraud. Listen in to some of that drama.
I said that it was exploding and that necessary action had to be taken at that time. Mayor, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not. I'm sorry, but I am no arch criminal here that planted an officer in the thing to spy on a police chief that, frankly, I liked.
This is the thing.
I mean,
he's
Mayor,
saying here...
ludicrous. It doesn't even sound legitimate.
Okay, he's saying that he ordered him to stop the investigation against elected officials, and he refused.
Mayor, that is completely untrue. All those things in there are completely untrue. The emails he sent to me, I told you were not true. I told you in the meeting where the city attorney was sitting there that the chief had to stop sending false emails to me.
It's not you.
That's specifically what I said.
An interim city official will be named to take over city operations. Again, that city manager placed on paid administrative leave here as the city continues to deal with this investigation into the police chief who was placed on leave over allegations of misconduct. The FBI also looking into some things here. One quick note, remember the police department was investigating 2 city council members who are accused to not live in the city they represent. That investigation now being headed up by Michigan State Police. We're live in Hamtramck. Dave Kinchin on The Edge.
All right, a lot to unpack there in Hamtramck. Dave Kinchin for us live tonight. Thank you. Also, an animal hoarding situation so bad it required a hazmat team.
A woman with too many animals on Detroit's east side was on the investigators' radar for months. Fox News' Jessica Dupnack gives us a closer look.
Started with a wellness check on some pets back in January and ended with 7 cats and dogs being found dead inside of a home. Investigators say their hands were tied until last week.
It's heartbreaking.
It's not hard to spot the house on the block where 7 animals were found dead inside, another 5 just wasting away.
We had to have hazmat, police and fire was there.
Investigators with Detroit Animal Care and Control, armed with an emergency order, found dead dogs and cats and rescued the others from the dilapidated hoarding home off Neff Street on Detroit's east side.
I spoke with a couple of the fire employees, and I know a lot of them were shaken up about the conditions.
It started with a welfare check in January. The woman who lives here opened the door to investigators with DACC, but would not let them in.
The homeowner did bring 8 animals for us to look at that at that time appeared to be in good condition. No cause for concern at that time.
She was given a laundry list of citations and expected to show up in court, but missed multiple court dates. Last week was the last straw. DACC investigators testifying to a judge to get an emergency order to get inside that house.
Good girl.
Animal advocate Teresa Sumter was not involved in this case, but sees them all the time. Is the legal process slow, though? I mean,
it is very slow. So we have 3 cases in court right now. Some are from 2 years ago. In the meantime, you don't want these abusers to get more animals. We don't want more victims, right, in these cases.
The conditions of the animals haven't been released, but they're being cared for here. At last check, the woman at the center of this investigation is not in police custody, but is likely to face charges.
At the end of the day, we want to see justice for these animals, and we hope that we'll see justice in this.
A lot of times in these animal hoarding situations, people think they're actually helping, and mental illness plays a role. The best thing you can do to help with overpopulation is spay and neuter. Reporting in Detroit, Jessica Dupnack on The Edge.
Roaring engines, screeching tires, reckless stunts, ending with arrests, tickets, and warnings. Detroit police cracking down on drifters and reckless drivers after a Memorial Day filled with cars burning rubber across the city. Officers say they're stepping up their efforts to catch criminals from around the state that drove to Detroit just to cause the ruckus.
There are people that are organizing it through social media, setting up locations. Hey, if the police stop us here, this is our next location, right? Pay for the menu, so to speak, and they do this activity throughout the night. One of the individuals was arrested from St. Clair Shores. We have located people in Howell, Michigan, Brighton, Michigan, Algonac.
Spectators also got tickets for spilling into the streets and blocking traffic, making the situation even tougher for police to handle. Police say expect to see more officers targeting specific areas as they move forward.
A Farmington Hills man learns his fate for beating up an 80-year-old man at the local YMCA. 21-year-old Malik Smith sentenced today to 23 months in prison. He's already credited with serving about half that time. Last year, Smith slammed the elderly man's head against a counter, knocking him unconscious after being asked to turn his music down in a locker room. The victim's family says their father's life completely changed due to a lasting brain injury.
A man accused of making anti-Semitic threats at a Bloomfield synagogue pleading guilty to federal gun charges. Back in 2022, Hassan Choker allegedly threatened Jewish families outside Temple Beth El. Investigators say after the alleged tirade, Choker attempted to buy several firearms at a gun store in Dearborn, but was denied after a background check. He'll be sentenced in federal court in September. He faces up to 15 years in prison.
In St. Clair Shores, a man has been cited and his golf cart impounded after a crash that left a 4-year-old hurt. It happened on Harper south of 11 Mile Sunday, right after the city's Memorial Day parade. Police say the 75-year-old man was leaving a parking lot driving that golf cart when he struck an adult male and a young child who were both walking on the sidewalk. The boy's mother says her son suffered a broken shoulder, and police say the golf cart driver had attended the parade but had not been consuming alcohol.
A luxury Manhattan townhome turns into a makeshift torture chamber. 2 New York crypto investors now charged in a Bitcoin kidnapping scheme.
Yeah, the duo accused of torturing Italian tourists for weeks over his Bitcoin password. Now investors and executives are on edge. Fox News' Dave Spencer explains.
It sounds too bizarre to be true. A 28-year-old Bitcoin tycoon says he escaped a torture chamber in New York City after being shocked with electric wires, drugged, and even threatened with a chainsaw, among other things. But local cybersecurity expert David Derajota says it all has to do with timing.
Bitcoin, as well as other cryptocurrencies, have hit an all-time high, so the value is through the roof right now, so it's a target.
And the New York City Bitcoin torture case isn't an isolated one.
You have another case where somebody was acting as an Uber driver in London that stole over $120,000 from somebody visiting from the States. And then you have an organized criminal group operating in Paris where more than 20 people were arrested. And this was more than just physical torture. This is looking to kidnap and to extort those people for the cryptocurrency.
Oftentimes we hear about scammers carrying out their crimes far away over the internet. This is different. Physical attacks, person to person. Joda says it has to do with the way crypto is stored.
So you have digital wallets that can be connected to the internet. Those are more accessible, they're more convenient. You can move money, Bitcoin around very seamlessly. And then you have air-gapped, or you have hardware wallets that are not connected online. Those are a bit more secure. They're harder to get a hold of.
What connects both is a seed phrase.
A seed phrase, it's a string of words, typically 12 to 24 words that have to be given in a particular order. That serves as the master key to the address, whether it's connected to the internet or not.
There are ways to invest safely, even ways to make a lot of money and not be a target.
Security overall is all about layers, not being overly vocal on social media, and not sharing your personal information, making sure that the seed phrase is well protected.
Our cybersecurity expert says that education here is really the key, and he says the best way to learn about new currency is with new tech. AI, ChatGPT, services like that will have the most up-to-date information on cryptocurrency, helping you become better informed. In Southfield, Dave Spencer on The Edge.
Well, hope you enjoyed the sunshine the last couple of days, because it sounds like we have some showers tomorrow, possibly.
Weather authority Rich Luderman, he joins us now with a preview of the showers, I guess, huh, Rich?
We need some wet weather, and tomorrow brings a chance for some showers. I'll show you why. We have a weak system out near Minneapolis. We have another weak system down close to Baltimore. So all of this has to pivot through the Great Lakes over the next 24 to 36 hours. So we will see a few showers, certainly not an all-day soaker around here. We need some rain for the grass and flowers. It's pretty quiet right now. It was a beautiful afternoon with sun and clouds. How about some great live shots from LAX? Los Angeles Airport looks nice there. That's a very busy airport, by the way. 72 and 54, pretty close to where we should be for the end of May. Look at the records, 31. Make that 91 and 35. Right now, pretty quiet. A lot of us are near 60 degrees. There's that breeze from the east, and it will continue again tomorrow once we get beyond sunrise. 52 in Marquette, 59 in Chicago. It is chilly in Pittsburgh. They've had some on-again, off-again wet weather at 53. There's Buffalo, New York at 62. So high pressure retreats. There it goes. Here comes our latest weak system moving through the Great Lakes tomorrow and tomorrow evening. And then we're setting up for some pretty nice weather heading into the weekend. Of course, we have the Grand Prix. 54 is the overnight low. Could be a couple sprinkles late tonight. Then some spotty showers tomorrow, but it will be a notch cooler. And then take a look at the 7-day forecast. How about 75 Friday with a stray shower? Nice for the weekend, warmer next week. A full check at 4 a.m.
Give us a little bit of extra time to maybe come up with the funds that we need in order to repair the dam.
Some Holly residents are heated over the idea of letting the Stiffs Mill Pond Dam go down the drain. Officials at the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy, or EGLE, says the dam is not structurally stable. At a city meeting tonight, they recommended drawing down the dam until they can make repairs.
We would want a submittal of a plan. So I think Doug said the initial consideration would be 4 feet. I think there needs to be some discussion around that. But obviously, that's I think what the intention of submitting the application would be. And the quickly would be like as soon as practical.
More than 1,000 residents have signed a petition to save the dam, many concerned about how removing the dam could drive down property values. EGLE says it's not calling for a permanent removal just yet, but is raising concerns about a high water event that could potentially endanger public safety.